The original incorrect version.
There we go. Ted Cruz got it wrong. You fucked up, Ted, yet again.
I love the
Um,
idea. He was just sitting around and being like, "What if I had a podcast, but the host was even more unlikable than Joe Rogan," and just did that.
I think I honestly think that I think Ted Cruz like does think he's popular and that people like him. I think he thinks he's beloved.
Wow.
Like I think he's that fucking far gone. Like I think it's like that whole delusion of like all the Trumpers being like, oh, we're the silent majority when they're like 20% of the
We're the silent
population.
majority. First of all, you're not
We're the
silent.
silent majority of uneducated white males.
Neither of those adjectives are appropriate.
Right. I know. They're loud as fuck.
Ladies, gentlemen, and friends beyond the binary, welcome to Girldick with Ted Cruz, starring Lilith, Elektra, Zarling, Amanda Bonanza, and esteemed Republican Senator from the great state of Texas, your host, Ted Theodore Cruz.
This is Girldick with French Cruz. With French Cruz.
with French
This
Cruz.
Girldick with French Cruz. Hey, Frenchie.
Hey, Frenchie.
Hey, Frenchie. How's your freedom fries, shithead?
Hey, Frenchie. Oh.
French Cruz.
French Cruz. Oh, just like a French
Girldick with French Stewart.
Also, what about Trench Cruz, who is like a
third cock from the sun?
No, he's like a soldier in World War I, and you're stuck in the trenches with him. It's Trench Cruz.
Thanks for obliging me. I also had to pee.
That's okay.
Do you need to pee?
No, I just urinate on myself.
Ah, that's a great move.
Yeah. And then I'll go shower it off.
Just like Ted Cruz.
Yeah. I mean, those are the tips that he taught me. It's like, how do you maintain an aura of success? He's like, I don't stop for anything. I eat while I'm working. I pee while I'm working. That's why they have washing machines and showers. You just throw the clothes in the washing machine. You hop in the shower.
I mean, that's the thing is like it's an ongoing rumor, and it's kind of a known internet fact that Ted Cruz pisses himself because he likes the warm, wet feeling. I've heard this in several podcasts.
I mean, it's very much, like the womb.
I mean, if we had Ted here,
he can confirm this, but
if Ted could have been here today, he could have explained it. I don't like putting words in old Ted's mouth. Our good friend Theodore Raphael Cruz. Well, I mean, we shouldn't dead name him, right? Should we respect that? We should use his dead name.
Sorry. Also, I'm going to write down some, like, every time we come with something we want to talk to him about, it's like, do you like the warm, wet feel of urine?
Why do you piss your pants so often? Why do you pee your pants so much? Yeah, I mean, is it because you like the warm, wet feeling? Is that it? Yeah.
The world wants to know. Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. You can pee your pants, Ted Cruz. Like you're welcome to. It's your life.
We're happy.
Everyone can do what they want because we believe in freedom, just like you. Or do you have anything to suggest or view or anything?
No, I just say like, we do the intro, be like, hey, I'm Lilith Zarling. I'm a asshole and a certified life coach and a bitch and a performer when COVID's not closing down all the theaters in the country.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have.
And you say who you are, and you're hiding.
Yeah,
I'll say from your employer.
I'm Bonanza, your pop extravaganza. It's for the big fan of Tony Danza.
All right, I got him here. So, first save one. This is an easy one. This is one for us to like just jump in and get ready. First question I found going through Reddit. What gets you through the days when you're feeling dysphoric?
Well, I mean, good question.
Yeah.
I hate, I'm going to say this because in the sake of being honest, I don't have too many of those days anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have those days. Like, I mean, there are certain things that like make me feel dysphoric like all the time, and like it's more of like a fleeting moment. Like
Yeah.
the worst thing for me, the thing that makes me the most dysphoric is my beard. I hate it. I hate it. It drives me crazy. I see it every time I see a hint of it. I just like, ugh,
Yeah.
and I cringe, and I can't stand it. And it's like, and in order for me to, I've gotten to the point where like I can feel okay leaving the house like without makeup,
Mm-hmm.
and close friends have seen me like with a day of not shaving, my roommates, but like I cannot go to a place if I haven't shaved that day. I have to shave. Like that's what does it for me. And so what does it for me is fucking shaving and putting on makeup on my face. That is covering it up, hiding my shame is what is what does it. That's what does it for me. But I mean, I think that question, because I think when I was first transitioning, because that first year is just rough, and I'm gonna kind of do an alternate kind of I'm gonna take it on a tributary here, and I'm just gonna say my suspect is that a lot of these questions are baby trans questions. Like these are questions that come from people that are less than 1 year on HRT, if they even have started, or they're just newly cracked eggs, or they're even still eggs and they're like just figuring even that out. I don't think you're going to get a lot of questions from people that have been are more than a year into transition. The reason I think that is because that's pretty much the mark, at least from my experience. Of course, everyone's experience is different, but my experience was that like after that 1 year mark, I started a lot more comfortable in my skin. And in my new, I mean, clearly, I mean, I'm approaching the 4 year mark. And I know that like I've still got a ways to go. Like it's like it's like I've said this before, but not here, so I'll say it here. It's like I always kind of akin it to like trip to drop an acid. It's like you drop acid and it takes a minute to kick in. And then it does kick in, and it kicks in hard, and that's called peaking. And you fucking shit is fucking wild, and it's wild, and you're like, holy fuck, I don't know what's going on. This is batshit insane, crazy. What the fuck is this? And then after a while, it starts to calm down. You're still tripping, but like you kind of got your sea legs after a minute, and they're like, okay, I'm starting to be able to navigate this gooey world, and like, and then you get to a certain point where like you've been tripping so long that like you kind of forget that you dropped acid, and things are starting to feel normal, and you think you're done, and then something happens that just reminds you that, oh, you're not done. Oh, you're not done at all. You are still very much tripping. And I feel like transitioning is very much like that, except for like in the span of like 8 to 12 hours. It's the span of like 8 to 12 years. Like, and I'm not even, I'm 3.5, a little more than that. Like, it's like, it's like December for me, and it's September now. So like, I'm approaching 4 years. So I know, like, that's the other thing is like, I've heard different stories from different people. I don't know if there's an end to it. I don't know if like, you finish transitioning. Is that a thing?
I don't think
like
you ever finish. You know.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. It's like it's like that's just like, but then I've heard that there is like you do just get to a point where like it's done. I'm here now. Like and in some ways I'm kind of at that point, but like not really. And I don't know what that means, because that's, to me, it's like, well, there's the whole narrative of like you know, trans women are women, and that's true, and like, but like the like I don't agree with the idea that like you don't ever become a cis woman. You know, it's like you're always trans no matter what. But I do think that there's an idea that's out there that's like that, that has that notion. Boy, did I stray from the point. What is it? What makes you
you're like really going here.
And I've been hogging the
Yeah, no,
mic.
I've had like 3 or 4 points and I've
What?
already forgotten by now.
Shit, I fucked that up.
No, that's all right. I think what it is. I think the main thing.
Sorry for transplaning you, Lilith.
That's all right. Yeah. No. Oh, I'm gonna get to a point where I'm fine. Yeah. I mean, you're ahead of you, bitch.
I know that you are. I wasn't explaining this to you.
I was just saying. No, I think what's important.
Let me tell you what it's like, hon. Let me tell you. Let me give you a few fucking pointers.
Let me have
Miss been doing this longer than me, life coach.
Let me say. No, I think what you said is important. Is like it's like I think it's so important to like recognize what makes you feel dysphoric, and then I think it's easy to like drown in that and like hit that let that hit you harder than it has to. But like recognizing it and taking those points. And I think one thing that helped me a lot, and I don't know if we've talked about this, it's like we get in this idea, especially when we first start, that we're transitioning into a woman, and I have to how does like I've seen questions where it's like, how do I walk like a woman? How do I do this like a woman? And it's just like, you're on your journey, you're going to become you. And noticing those changes as you're growing and noticing the progress you've made is a great way of like kind of heading off that dysphoria. And the other thing is like, I know like I'll turn off social media. Like you get these things where it's just like pictures of people who are like 21 and like, I haven't even started hormones yet, and they look absolutely perfect, and I'm over here like yesterday's trash being like, will I ever not look like this? It's just like,
well, and that's
all on our own thing.
It's something to bear in mind for all our trans siblings out there, is the people that do that, the people that look like fantastic without hormones at age 21 or age 16 or whatever, those are also the people that put themselves out there. Like those are the exceptions to the rule. It's like when you watch a TV show, you don't see ugly people. You don't see anything less than the most beautiful people. Even the people in the TV show that are supposedly the unattractive ones are intensely attractive. It's like they have glasses on.
I'm the ugly girl.
And then but like see, and then they they take them off and they do this.
Yeah, but I think really recognizing.
But that's the thing is,
journey.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with with trans media. Like you look at someone like Victoria Rose, and like I don't know if you know who that is. She's
I don't know who anyone is.
Well, she's a YouTuber, and she does she's 22, and does like a blog about being a trans woman. Like it's pretty legit. I don't watch it because it's like I do watch it, but like whatever. Point of it is. I don't. It's like I'm not. It's like I don't feel like I need a lot of advice at this point. But and also it's like she's 22. It's like what's she gonna tell me? I'm sorry, I don't have a lot to learn from a 22-year-old. It's like I just don't.
So much judgment.
Maybe some tech stuff. They could probably show me some tech stuff.
Yeah.
That's about it. Definitely not navigating life. It's like but not to bag on you Gen Zs, you Zoomers out there. I fucking love you, every last one of you. Come on over. I'll give you some wine. But I guess what I was getting at is like the people that have the YouTubes that look fabulous, the people that are like the YouTuber, the trans celebrities, the ones that are out there doing that, giving the advice, doing all that stuff. They're the ones that are comfortable doing it, and they're the ones that tend to. One of the things that really helps with confidence and being comfortable, and I hate to say it, is passing. And like and if you look at these trans women that just like you're like, I can't believe she's trans. Like it's like if you can kind of see it. If you really squint, you look like, and I think a lot of people do that. I do that. but like you would never know at like a casual glance. Like it's like you would, if you saw them on the street, you wouldn't even,
Yeah.
it wouldn't even cross your mind. It wouldn't even
But that kind of goes to my thing of saying, like, you're on your own journey. So don't think like, in my head, this is what a woman looks like and that's what I'm gonna look like. It's like, you're on your own journey. Will you ever pass? I don't know, but really, passing is for the other people.
right.
You
Well,
need to correct
passing is
like, if you really want to be happy, you need to recognize where you are as opposed
that's
to how
it.
you're perceived. Because I'm going to be real honest with you, if I worried about how I was perceived by the world at large, like, I would never be happy, because there's a good 30% of the population that's gonna hate me no matter what I do. So, like, that, having that kind of judgment is nothing. The last thing I would say is, uh, I always used to do this when I would do comedy. Is there's always like people on that journey, on that line, that are looking ahead, and they're like, look at that person. I wish I was that person. I wish I was where that person was. But you have to know that there are people, you're at 4 years, I'm at 4.5, 5 years. There are people who are 1 year who are looking at us and being like, oh, I wish I was where they were. I wish I had this. And
Right.
so there's, all of us are on this journey. And however jealous you are of someone else, like, you have to realize that they're having a different experience. And also there are people looking at you being like, I wish I had that person's confidence. I wish
Right.
I had that person's look. I wish I could do makeup like that person.
And
So
I'll add to that, like,
yeah.
I hate to to promote the stereotype, but like it also is like the more the estrogen's flowing, the more that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like the more envious you do get of other people, and like the more you do like, I don't know what it is. I didn't believe it. I like before I had started HRT, like I never thought it was imaginary, but I thought it
Right.
was a lot more a symptom of of media and upbringing. And I thought it was much more nurture than nature.
Yeah.
And once
Yeah.
once the E's started kicking in and taking over, that changed real quick. Like I
Yeah.
started noticing, oh shit, like fuck, I need to lose weight. Like oh my god, like I would see things like and imperfections in
Yeah.
myself that I never maybe didn't even notice, but even if I noticed, certainly didn't care about. And all of a sudden it was there, and it wasn't just because like I was like dysphoric. It was just because of the fucking estrogen.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah.
it is different. And like I quick disclaimer here, like we're trans women, so like I don't know what the fuck it's like to be a trans man, or quite
Yeah.
frankly to be non-binary. I don't know what that's like. And so like this is not like nothing that I say or that Lilith says is anything but personal, coming from
Yeah.
personal experience. And so like just that quick disclaimer, because like it deserves to be said that like everyone's experience is
Yeah.
different. And
But
like
I
there's
would say, regardless of that, like, the important thing is to, like, embrace where you are, where your truth is. Doesn't matter if you're a trans woman or trans man or non-binary. Whenever you're feeling those feelings, give yourself credit that you've started this journey, because so many people haven't. I almost didn't, because I thought I was too
yeah,
old, and so,
I put it off way too long.
yeah.
Way too long.
Yeah, and it's like, when you're feeling that dysphoria, no matter what your gender identity is like, really finding that center and realizing that, like, I am on this journey, I've made this decision, and I have to give myself credit for that. And noticing the changes in you, and how you, like, being happy in the changes that have happened with you and how you've grown, as opposed to, I'm not X yet.
And that's the other thing that I was going to bring up, and this is kind of partially why I went on that tangent about
Yeah.
like of time, is because it's really important to understand that like when you're first starting out, like it fucking is hard. That first year is fucking hard. Like it's awkward. It's you don't your brain's being completely rewired, like your body's being reformed, like everything's going wild. It is second puberty. No one has a picnic in either their first or their second puberty, and the second puberty is harder
Yeah.
because when you have your first and you're 13, like a 13-year-old girl going through that shit, and like experimenting with bad makeup, like, and being bad at makeup, like, is like, no one looks, everyone understands, like, oh, she's 13, she's figuring it out. But when you have the outward appearance of a 40-year-old man, like, and you are bad at makeup, people fucking notice, and they aren't nice about it. Like,
well, it's
so
also
you gotta
like,
get good fast, and
when
it's
you're
like,
doing it,
and
when you're doing it in high school, like all your friends are going through it too. I don't have any other,
right,
I don't have any other friends
right.
my age going through puberty with me.
I know, and it's like, you know, luckily, fortunately, we have the internet now, and like, you
Yeah.
can find this, but like, it wasn't that long ago where this wasn't there. And like, honestly, it's a lot of the reason that I didn't transition for as long as I didn't is because I didn't fucking I was already isolated, and I didn't
Yeah.
want to be even further isolated. Like, I mean, I was scared of so many different things, but like,
Yeah.
but my point of it is like, when you're having those dysphoric feelings, like when you're having those days where you just feel like you're ugly and you're hideous, like we all have them, like, but it's not just trans, like all people have them, and especially women. Like, women have them more than men, like they really do. And the thing is that that does start to pass with time. Like, it's going to take time. Everything takes time. There's nothing rapid about a transition. It is a slow yet relentless process, which is the fascinating thing about it, because it's like, it's so gradual that you don't notice anything as it's happening. It's always like, you look in the mirror and you recognize it because it's the same face you saw yesterday, but it's not the same face you saw 6 weeks ago. And that's a fucking head trip. That's wild. Like, and that first year, that's a lot. It's a lot different every 6 weeks or however long. That slows down, and it stabilizes after about a year. It still happens. Like, it's like, I look in the mirror and it's like, it might not, maybe instead of 6 weeks, it's like 2 months or like 3 months. But like, I look at like what I look like now, and I see a photo from like 3 or 4 months ago, and I'm like, holy shit, there's a huge difference. Like, and it's like, and it's wild. Like, and it's just like, it doesn't stop. But the good thing about it is hormones make you look younger.
Oh yeah. No,
Like,
I get that all the time.
You straight age in reverse. You straight Benjamin Button it. Like,
it's
great.
We had a thing at work where everyone came to the corporate office. We hung out for a week and kind of got to know each other. And someone asked for my Instagram, and they followed me, and I had a picture, because it was right around the time of my anniversary, of me on stage in 2013, and then me like today, like,
that's fucking bold.
Yeah. And she's like, how old are you in this picture? And I was like, I was like 40, 43, 44. And someone was listening in our conversation. She's like, well, how old are you? She's like, I thought you were 32. I'm like,
right.
I'm going on 52. So
yeah. No, I worked with a dude that like was certain I was 25 years old. It was a couple years back, but like, it's just like, oh, it's like the sweetest fucking thing ever. I don't think I look anything approaching 25, but I don't think I look 45. Like, you know, like, I think I can pass for 35.
Oh no, I definitely work with people who are in their mid 40s, and I'm like, I'm 7 years older than you. Get out of here.
Yeah. Oh, that's the wildest trip is when you see people that are your age or younger than you that look like shit. It's like, dog, what the fuck are you eating? You're just like, did you just like eat old man food?
Just
like,
on that Toby Keith diet.
Dude, I know. It's like, god damn.
Full tobacco.
You just like, you just fry up some combos for breakfast. Is that what you did? Throw a couple of them Fritos on the grill and pour some, put butter on them.
Hey man,
I ain't gonna diss on
that's my main concern.
I'll enjoy a Frito. I don't eat especially well either. Garbage. Yeah,
I
I eat
love
like a
garbage.
fucking goat. I eat railroad tracks and tin cans, like whatever's closest.
My concern is like I'm getting that age where like now I got to start worrying about like having like old people problems. Like the first time my hip hurts, I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna be one of those hip people.
I think I have tennis elbow. I'm going to see my doctor this week. I'll
That's
find
a
out. But I
rich
think
person's disease.
no, that's a fucking you fucking heard it doing physical labor disease, and I think I got it when I worked at FedEx.
Oh,
Like I think I fucked up my elbow, and I think I might need surgery because I think my tendon tore.
get an elbow brace.
I suppose I could. I'm gonna see what
Yeah.
my doctor says. I'm gonna talk
I
to
have
my
like
doctor.
all kinds of braces. Every time something on my body hurts, I just buy a brace. So right now I have like an ankle brace that I'm wearing because I hurt
Just get a forehead brace. Just make sure
I
that
got
thing stays
yeah,
in place.
I got a headache. It's called a headband. All right. I have a knee brace. I even have a shoulder brace because after I got my breast augmentation, I started sleeping on my side and fucked up my shoulder. And it hurt for like 8 months, and I had like a shoulder brace I was wearing, and it worked. My shoulder doesn't hurt anymore.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad your shoulder doesn't hurt
Well,
anymore.
thank you. I appreciate that. Do
I
you
think
think
did we answer this question?
do you think this person is? I hope this person is helped. I mean, if they see it, but I hope whoever sees
Yeah.
it, like I said,
Well, yeah.
dysphoria,
I
you
think
know,
it's a long shot to think that the person that threw this up on Reddit is also watching this podcast, but like
I
maybe
don't
not.
know. There's
Maybe
only
everyone that's on Reddit is watching our podcast. I think that's probably
that's
more
probably more likely.
realistic, especially this first one.
The first episode
Like
is
the
gonna have
first
like
episode,
every trans person in the world is
Yeah, it's
gonna
like,
watch it.
hey, that's my question. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it is. It is. We are.
Ugh.
I think are we good on that one?
I feel like that has been sufficiently. Here's what happens.
Hope that
If
helps.
next time I'm looking, if I'm on Reddit and I see someone else ask how to handle dysphoria, I guess we'll revisit it then.
Yeah, I guess
But
so.
no, dysphoria solved. Next
Yeah,
question.
so that's it. That's all there's to it.
Uh,
Well, I bust out one of mine.
yeah, go for it.
So I'm gonna hit us. I'm gonna go right into controversial.
Oh wow, okay.
This one's kind of a long one. This is something I do want to address, but it might get us in trouble. I don't know. Okay. The title here is I hate the hate for pronouns that aren't he, him, she, her, or they, them.
Yeah.
I told a friend my pronouns, and he said, look, I can respect he, him, she, her, and they, them. But this is where I draw the line. Why can't you just use he, him, or they, them instead? I prefer Xi Jin. It's more comfortable. It's too hard for me. Can I just call you he? Please don't. I'm calling you he. At least I don't use she, lol. I hate it. I hate how I have to use he, him instead because people say this kind of shit to me when I tell them my actual pronouns. I found out I was under the gender fluid umbrella and decided to change my pronouns depending on what gender I felt like. No one respected it and just used whatever pronouns they wanted to use for me. I decided to use Xi Jin. People tell me it's too hard to use and they don't know how to use it. I tell them how to use my pronouns, but they still don't use them. They decided to just use he or she for me instead. I hate how people tell me to just use they, them, or he, him. I hate how people tell me neopronouns are weird. I hate seeing people, even queer people, debate about the validity of my pronouns. Do you have anything to say? Do you want to chime in first? Because I've got quite a lot to say about this, but
I
I kind
mean,
of
yeah,
I
I
sucked
tell
up the
you,
last.
you've got it locked in, and yeah, I'd love to hear what you've got to say. I mean, my thing is, like you said, people are shitty, uh, and that's just part of the world we live in. And I try to, I don't know anyone who uses pronouns outside of he, her, he, her, or them. So I've never had that come up. I would, obviously try to. I think sometimes there has to be some understanding about, like when I changed my pronoun. I remember the first time one of the people was most supportive of me. We went out and he used the wrong pronouns like 3 or 4 times in a row, and he corrected himself and was beating himself. And I'm like, it's okay, you got to do this. But at the end of the day, you can't control that they're assholes. So yeah, it'd be great if they respected that, but also, are you going to like how much am I going to let something like that bother me? So I totally understand what this person is saying. I totally would wish to respect their wishes. I'm not seeing it. So is it the
Yeah,
Okay.
is like ZHER,
All
Zer.
right. So their
Z
wishes,
Zer.
but
Yeah.
also, you know, we don't live in a world where you get to demand how you're treated. You can demand respect, and if someone doesn't respect me, like I've left people, I'm just like, cool, well, we're done here. And maybe that, I don't know their age, if they're able to do that. There are things that I'm not aware of with this story, but sometimes you have to just realize that, you know, you can't control how other people treat you. It can be extremely frustrating. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you've got to say.
So here's my take on that, and it's so the official, like, according to the narrative, keeping the like the above board, polite, I guess politically correct thing to say here would be like your all your pronouns are what you say they are. If your pronouns are zhezhers, then that's what they are, and people that don't use them are disrespectful. That is actually true. That is true. Your pronouns are what only you know what your pronouns are. No one else can tell you that. No one else gets to decide that. If people don't use your pronouns, they are being disrespectful to you. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Now, that being said, when you go down the rabbit hole of neo pronouns, I'm not saying that it's okay, but I'm saying it's the reality of the world we live in. Is pretty much the whole like trans awareness thing is pretty new, at least in America and in the world that we know. Like maybe in ancient times, it was like in some cultures it was been around forever, but like in the dominant capitalist Western culture that we find ourselves victims of, it's a pretty fucking new thing. And by new, I mean like we're pushing 8 years, not even there. Like it really, it started, not to give her too much credit, but it really did start when Caitlyn Jenner did Vanity Fair in 2015. Like before that, like no one was using pronouns. No one was respecting them. No one was doing anything. It was dangerous. It was a lot more dangerous. No one was, I mean, a handful of people were like trans rights and stuff, but like, I mean, it wasn't anywhere near what it is now. And it's, a lot of it had to do with that article and that exposure that Caitlyn Jenner did give. Now, Caitlyn Jenner is a fucking piece of shit. Don't get me wrong. She's a horrible person. But she did do that. And she does deserve the credit for like breaking that ground and really, because I mean there have been some transgender celebrities before her for sure. I mean there was like Wendy Carlos is a big one to me, and like and a handful, and I guess Christine Jorgensen before that, but like honestly it's like I can't really think of a lot of others before Caitlyn Jenner. Like now, that being said, in 7 coming on 8 years, we've come a very long way. But there are still people that, not even because they're trying to be rude or trying to be disrespectful, still fuck up they them. It's hard for people that have had a lifetime, cis hetero people that like have had a lifetime of not even knowing about this stuff at all. We're unaware that they even knew any trans or gay people, even, like, which is a lot of people. They don't even know it. They probably do know trans people. They probably do know gay people, but they didn't even know that they did for most of their lives, especially this goes, it's harder for older people. And like, so all of a sudden there's all these new rules. Now, I'm not saying that they aren't valid. They're valid new rules that are there for a reason, and they're good and they should be respected. But the reality is, like, the farther you get away from the binary, the more people are going to fuck up, either intentionally or even just by just pure confusion and not and just not thinking about it, which is going to be more often than not. So when you get down the rabbit hole of like zhuzhers, or like I've met some people that like have gone by like, I'm astral gender, and like I want you to refer to me as sun, moon, and those are my pronouns. It's like when you start making up your own pronouns, or even, I'm not saying zhuzhers is made up. I've met other people that use those, but I've seen different variations. Like this person had Z's, but like I've seen it with X's, and like and I've heard various, when you go down the rabbit hole of neo pronouns, just you need to have the emotional fortitude and the understanding that you're literally going down a rabbit hole, and the farther you go down that hole, the less and less people are going to be there with you. And the farther you get away from the traditional standard she, her, he, him, the less people are not even going to respect it. They are going to disrespect it on purpose. There's going to be a big chunk of people that do that, but there's also going to be a big chunk of people that just they're not ready for it yet. They can't wrap their heads around it, and they're going to try, and they are going to give up. And like, I'm not saying it's putting an undue burden on them. What I am saying is that you have to amend your expectations of other people. And this is going to sound like the most Gen X cynical thing ever, but your expectations of other people should pretty much be none at all. Just assume they're going to suck. Like, it's just like, it's like, I don't know what to say other than that. Like, it's like, yeah, those are your pronouns. I will respect them. Like, and probably all trans people are going to respect them, but that's just because trans people have a unique experience with going through being trans people are pretty much the only people that get misgendered. Like, cishet people very rarely get misgendered. Like, it's not a thing that comes up, which is why they're so like desensitized to it. Like, they don't care because they haven't experienced it. It's like there's like, no one has the capacity to have sympathy for something they completely don't understand and have no experience or understanding of.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not making excuses. People should be more aware. Some people are being adamantly and obstinately rude, but that's not most people. Most people do actually want to be your friend and want to be respectful, but the harder you go with it, the harder they're going to have. And the less that's going to ripple out. Like, you can wear all the pins and the buttons you want that say zhuzhers and zers on them. It's not going to make any fucking difference. Like, you get John Q. Day Trader, like Mr. Businessman at the job interview, like cishet white male businessman. He's not gonna see your pin and give two flying fucks. He's thinking about his portfolio. Like, you get like the soccer mom in the grocery store with her kids that are crying, and like, it's like you've got your Zers pin while you're checking out the groceries. She's not gonna care. Like, it's like the farther you get away from like that sort of thing, the harder it is for people to get it. Like I said, so I guess really what I'm getting at is like, yes, people should respect your pronouns, but they're just not going to. Like, it's like, and it's not fair because I am not non-binary. Like, I'm very binary. I'm a femme all the way. And so it's easy for me because like my pronouns are she, her. People understand she, her. They know what women are. They don't really understand the non-binary thing and the people that tend to fall more in the middle of the spectrum or that go back and forth.
Yeah.
Like a lot, like, and that's not something that people that don't have any experience with being trans, like, it's not easy for them to wrap their heads around it. They don't get it because they don't know it. It's like a refrigerator. It's like no one sits around and gets together with their neighbors and talks about how well their refrigerator works. It's like they don't sit at a table and be like, hey, like, boy, like that. How's your refrigerator doing? It's like, oh, it works great. I love it. I'm so thankful. Like every day I open it, it works. Every day it works great.
See,
Like, no one.
I have a different experience
Oh
because
yeah,
I have a neighbor who will call once a month and ask if my refrigerator is running.
Oh, that's good stuff.
And then when I say yes, he says you probably should go catch it. So I think,
holy shit,
yeah,
holy shit, this is good, Lilith.
yeah,
Fuck.
I think that's
Thank
like
you.
southern. That's like that southern friendship that they have. I would say that in regards to this entire story, like I said earlier, there are people you can't control how the world at large is going to react. When it comes to someone who says they're your friend, and this happens with I think all trans people, they worry about losing their friends. The one thing I always say is like you are going to lose friends, but you're going to find people, you're going to find new friends. And the nice thing is the friends you find are the people who are your friends because you're who you are, who you are. Your friends who don't accept you're changing, they are friends with someone who doesn't exist. They're friends with that person you pretended to be your whole life to be safe, or because whatever reason you felt you had. I mean, we all felt we had to do that.
Yeah,
it
for
wasn't.
sure.
You and me, it wasn't a thing. There was, now we look back and you're here like there was this person who transitioned in the '80s or people who transitioned in the '70s. It was not a thing where you could like find that information really. And so know that you're going to lose a friend, but the friends you find are the ones who are going to love you who you are. And the ones you've lost are people who are holding on to someone who you weren't. And so you have to, yes, that's painful. Yes, that sucks. But, those are the kinds of things like you have to put your happiness first. And that's not selfish. You want to live your best life. You get one time around on this.
It's
life.
also not easy.
No, it's incredibly, yeah.
It's really hard.
I say it like it's simple. I mean, honestly, I've done it enough that it has gotten pretty easy for me.
Well, and these days it is same. Yeah. I mean, I actually got really lucky and I didn't lose a single friend. I lost family.
Yeah.
I lost family for sure. But that's a hard truth that you just spoke there, because like I think that needs to be understood. It's hard. It's hard for people to understand that, like, part and parcel of just being trans, like not like because you don't get a say in it. You're either trans or not, like, and like, but part and parcel of coming out, of being trans and being openly trans and embracing it and accepting it and treating it is you are, not you might, not you likely will, you are going to lose people. You are going to be abandoned. You are going to lose. Sometimes people lose everything. Sometimes it's just the risk you run, and it's a big factor that keeps people in the closet. It's literally what kept me in the closet for decades. Like I was afraid to lose people. I was afraid to lose I didn't know what my family would think. I didn't know what my friends would think. I was afraid that like if I told people, like, and I had no reason to think that. Like I had very, very open-minded, very progressive friends. Like my friend circle, like I mean, as a rock musician, like it's like I ran in progressive circles, like still do. My parents are very open-minded and very encouraging, always have been. No reason to think that they would be upset. Turns out my sister, not so much. I thought she was going to be really supportive, and she was the one person that I was most excited to tell. Yeah. And turns out she's a TERF, like, and I don't talk to her anymore. I had to make the conscious decision to cut her out of my life. Yeah. And I'm not at all happy about it. Like it's like it sucks. It hurts. She's my sister. I want to love her, and I do love her, but like if she can't respect me for who I am, like, and wants to, and her own interpretation of her own narrative is more important than me. Yeah. With regards to me, then that's unacceptable. And everyone has a line that they need to draw in the sand, where you have to, and it's different because different people have different tolerances, but the bottom line is like you gotta draw that line. You have to draw a line in the sand that says this is as far as you can go, and if you go past that, like we can't have a meaningful relationship. And I mean, it's, you also have to be understanding with people that are trying. Like, intent is important too.
Mhm.
It's like, there's just a lot of factors. It's complicated.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing is, I don't think people understand how unhappy you are. I knew this about me before I transitioned because I was living this life. It affected me mentally too. I always use I don't know if I've told you this. I use a thing that, transitioning was kind of like rebooting a computer that had malware on it and kind of wiping it clean. And I'm doing more with my life. I'm happier. I am more productive as a person. I'm enjoying the things around me. And when someone says like they're not going to accept you, like they're putting their own comfort ahead of your happiness. They're putting their belief system over your lived experience. Like a trans person knows they're trans, and whatever you think you know about being trans, you don't unless you're trans. And so if someone is going to put their own comfort or their own misguided beliefs above your happiness, then you just have to be able to say goodbye to that, and you will find someone else. See, you found me. So
I'll even take it a step farther than that and say that's not, it's someone putting their own imagination over reality. Like that, because you are who you are.
Yeah.
And if you say you're Zers, then you're Zers. That's you. And if someone says, well, I'm just going to call you he, him, then they're living in a fucking fantasy. They're wrong. They're just flat out wrong. It's like, who is anyone to tell someone else who they are or what? Like, that's insane. That's batshit crazy.
It's also it's such an easy thing. It's like, imagine if like your friend was just stepping on your ankle and you said, hey, it would really make me feel better if you stopped standing on my ankle. And they were like, yeah, but then I'd have to move. So it's easier for me just to keep stepping on your ankle. It's like, yes.
Yeah, that makes me uncomfortable. I don't like moving. Yeah, I like it here.
Yeah, your ankle's the most comfortable place to stand. But honestly, yes, give your friend that grace. But when your friend says no, they're not going to do that. And I have a friend who came out as non-binary, and I still slip up.
Right.
And I'm trans, and I slipped up on my own gender internally.
I've slipped up myself too with non-binary
for
people.
The first year,
it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing what I do. When I fuck up pronouns, I feel terrible.
Yeah,
but I do
because you're a bad person. No, but it's
I'm
like you mentioned. You mentioned it's the intent, and like as you try, and it's not making a big deal about it when it happens. Just correct yourself and move forward. But I would never tell anyone, it's like, sorry, I don't see you as that. It's like, well, you don't get to define me. I get to define myself. And that's the beautiful thing about America, supposedly, is that we all get to go
yeah. Asterisk.
Asterisk. Not all self-identifications are valid.
America, the most beautiful country in the world.
You could do whatever you want.
Look at all the colors.
Except that. You could be whoever you want to be, except for that.
Right.
We convince generations of poor kids that they grow up to be president, which is less realistic than being trans.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole of America sucks.
We'll have to have like an America special sometime in the future.
Hey, Teddy, what do you think about America?
I wish he
Maybe he'll be here next week. Maybe. He'll be here next week.
That's what he said. He's going to put it on his calendar. He's going to be here next week for us.
Yeah, Ted's definitely be here next week on his own podcast. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. This has been Girldick with Ted Cruz. Sorry Ted Cruz couldn't be here. He'll be back next week. We'll see him then. I'm Amanda Bonanza.
Lilith Zarling.
We'll see you later. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. I love you.